what happened this morning at Sandy Hook, Connecticut, we need to take a moment to reflect and pray for those who lost their lives and for those left behind. Let us take a moment of silence and reflect. We thank our Creator for the opportunity to share this moment with these wonderful men and women who have achieved so much. We thank those in our military, both past and present, who have preserved our freedoms so that we can gather here today. Let those who conclude this phase of their formal legal education dedicate themselves to the beginning of service to those who need representation. May we take this commencement as an opportunity to begin to make our mark on this world, so when our time comes to leave, we will know that we have done all that we could, each in our own way, to make the world a better place. Amen.
Everyone may be seated. On behalf of myself, Dean Enzeroth, who is very, very sad that she could not be here today, but who's dealing with a family illness, and the entire faculty, many of whom join us today on the stage, welcome to our Fall 2012 hooding ceremony. Graduates, we are very, very proud of you, and families and friends, we are very, very grateful for your support. From my perspective, as someone who has dedicated a career to legal education, you are graduating at a very interesting, a very critical moment in our history. We, those of us in and around legal education, have been recently bombarded by an incessant drumbeat, a drumbeat that questions the value of a law degree. You might see this in the press, in the blogosphere, among politicians, our regulators, and some of our peers who argue that legal education is an uncertain investment. Now, as the dean of a law school, it is my job to be a serious student of this critique. I view you, our students, as consumers and customers, and I feel that I have the utmost duty and responsibility to deploy your precious tuition dollars in the most efficient and effective manner. I have lost many, many nights' sleep thinking about the question that appeared one Sunday morning on the front page of the business section of the New York Times. This question in a banner headline asked, "Is law school a losing game?" Now, there is no question that legal education, actually all education or any business, is always a work in progress. There's always room to improve, to innovate, and to adjust to the on-the-ground realities of the economy and the legal market. And with a downturn in the legal market, with some outsourcing of legal services and technological innovation, this is certainly not a moment for law schools to adopt a complacent or business-as-usual approach. So I do not come to this conclusion lightly or reflexively or defensively, but I'm here to stand tall, to stand proud, and to proclaim with great confidence that despite the naysayers, your law degree is a great investment. It is one that will serve you well as you build upon perhaps your current career trajectory or as you launch a new one. Yet it is up to all of you to be smart about your investment, to be patient, to be deliberate, to be ethical, and to be open to the paths less traveled. Every summer, I spend a few weeks in the mountains. I have found that this is a very sacred time for me to recharge and refuel for the upcoming academic year. This year, I set a goal for myself, and that goal was to climb to the top of a mountain, to reach a peak. So I started a rather intense training regimen. I joined a hiking group, I hired a guide, and I'm proud to report that on July 24th, I met my goal and I peaked a mountain called Mount Augusta. It was about 12,549 feet. And I learned a lot on this journey, particularly from my particular guide and coach, and I realized that so much of what I learned is very apropos for law graduates, particularly those who are entering the law profession at this moment of transition. So today I thought I would take a few moments and I would share some tips from the mountain that might be particularly useful as you move on from this meaningful juncture. There's 5 of them. So first, the best path to the peak is often not the well-trodden trail. In fact, to reach many, if not most peaks, there are actually no trails. It is up to the hikers to define the path, and in fact, to stay only on the official trails is to miss out on so many peaks that offer breathtaking views that often reveal the next peak and the next challenge. One of today's indictments of legal education is that law jobs are drying up, or the flip side, there is an oversupply of newly minted lawyers. Now, this is simply not true. Let me repeat this. This is simply not true. There are so many people in need of legal services and legal advice that it's absolutely ludicrous to claim that there is an oversupply of lawyers. Now, what is true is that the traditional, well-defined path for law graduates, that path being a relatively high-paid associate at a white-shoe law firm, is no longer available for the majority of law school graduates. Yet, as I perused your backgrounds, as I looked at your accomplishments, as I reflected upon your applications, I realized that your experiences, your life experiences, your backgrounds demonstrate that there are so many less trodden but equally meaningful routes to law school and from law school. And I urge you today to pursue the less traveled trail, and when necessary, to chart your own course. A second and related point, the path that will lead to a successful summit is almost never the direct route from the base of the mountain to the peak. The trail is winding, and to go up, you almost always have to go down at some point. Occasionally, you might even need to reverse course and try another route due to an impassable creek or ravine. And at times, you may not make the peak in the first try. Now, sometimes I worry a bit about our students because you thrive on instant gratification, instant communication, and I fear you might expect instant success. And indeed, those who challenge the value of a law degree measure the cost against the instant benefit or the entry-level job salary. Yet careers in and around the law are long trajectories that often take years to blossom and hit stride. The value of a law degree can only be measured against the arc of a whole career, and the value is not merely marked by the money earned, but by the lives touched. Third, when traversing particularly tricky parts of the climb, when you are walking on ledges or climbing sheer rocks, what you're really supposed to do is look at the rock or the mountain, but what we all want to do is look at the destination. So in other words, you need to maintain focus on where you came from and take each incremental step with an acute awareness of where you have been. Each and every one of you came to this law school with a wellspring of life experiences. As you build your career, as you chart your trajectory, you will inevitably hit difficult spots and moments. All of us do. To move through them with relative ease and grace, anchor yourself in your past, in your experiences, in your law school training, in your previous careers. They offer you the stable footing necessary to traverse even the most daunting ledge. Fourth, in order to maintain the stamina necessary to get to the top, it is much more effective and efficient to use short, consistent steps with a constant rhythm and cadence than it is to travel at a speed that requires frequent breaks. Careers are marathons. They are not sprints. And I believe that this point is particularly relevant for newly minted lawyers. Yesterday, I participated in an Oklahoma Bar Association professionalism seminar, and I heard a common refrain from Ethics Council and from others who handle ethics complaints on behalf of the Bar Association. The refrain is this: lawyers tend to live an unbalanced life. taking on too many clients, trying to bill too many hours, often leading to burnout or sometimes worse, relatively early in one's career trajectory. Remember, small, measured steps are the surest way to the top. And fifth, hiking is not a solo sport. It is communal. The cardinal rule of hiking is this: you never hike alone. On any particular hike, your fellow hikers can be a critical source of support should you get injured, feel faint, or run out of water. In a broader sense, alpine hikers form a community joined by a set of formal and informal rules that not only keeps the mountains safe and clean for people and wildlife, but also maintains the pristine beauty of the wilderness. With your law degree, you enter a tremendous professional community, the legal community. And as you receive your degree, I think it is very important to take a moment and to consider, what does it mean to be a member of a professional community? As part of a community, your actions reflect on the community. At the end of the day, what really are lawyer jokes? These are the actions of a few rogue lawyers detracting from the profession as a whole. So find support. The legal profession has wonderful organizations and associations which will help you gain your bearings within your new community. Also, as a member of the legal community, your process of learning never ends. The law, by definition, evolves. As you enter the profession, you assume a never-ending responsibility to be informed, be current, and to view the law as a dynamic rather than a static body of knowledge. As a member of the legal profession, you are bound by a professional code of ethics and behavior. And as a professional, your primary asset, your goodwill, is your reputation. Reputation takes time to build. It takes experience. It takes skill. It takes word of mouth. Yet reputation can be shattered in an instant. We've all seen it. Sloppiness in writing, failure to meet deadlines. As you get into the courtroom, withholding of evidence, imprecise or hastily crafted legal advice, or maybe even an inappropriate posting on Facebook or Twitter. These can destroy your reputation in a fraction of the time that it took to build. And finally, as a member of the legal profession, we pledge to serve those in need. We as lawyers hold special stature in our society. In exchange for this benefit, we have a responsibility towards those less fortunate than ourselves. The American Bar Association codifies this responsibility. It says that every lawyer has a professional responsibility to provide legal services to those unable to pay. The lawyer, by definition, by profession, must always serve the public interest. As I mentioned at the beginning of these remarks, I spend much time thinking about, worrying about the value of legal education. As a result, I have become somewhat obsessed with asking students, faculty, colleagues, practicing lawyers, and judges, almost anyone who I see, I ask them this question: if doing it all over again, would you go to law school and join the profession? And to a T, they say yes. And when I asked why, the answer was also a constant, if not cliche, refrain. Why? Because with a law degree, you can help change and improve people's lives. So to those who question the value of a law degree, yes, it's certainly possible to put a price tag on education. Yet the ability to make a difference in people's lives, that is priceless. And now, it is my honor to introduce one of my colleagues, Professor Parker, who will deliver the commencement address. Professor Parker earned his Juris Doctor degree from the University of Mississippi and his LLM degree from Columbia University Law School. After teaching at North Carolina Central University Law School, Professor Parker joined the TU College of Law in 1990. His teaching and scholarly interests focus upon constitutional issues, torts, and insurance. Professor Parker also teaches agency, partnership, and civil rights. Professor Parker has won the university's teaching award, which is the highest teaching award that the university bestows, and is basically a yearly recipient of of the Outstanding First Year Teacher Award. This is a very special hooding ceremony for Professor Parker because Professor Parker's son, Jason Parker, joins us as one of our graduates today. So please join me in welcoming Professor Parker.
Good afternoon. 2.5 years ago, this group came together in the context of a first-year orientation meeting. During orientation, you were all introduced to the do's and don'ts of law school. You were told what was expected of you and what you could expect for the next 3 years of your life. Now here you sit, after having had contracts, torts, property, corporations, evidence, and a host of other law courses. Time does fly. I would like to think that you are as awed as I am at this moment. The opportunity to serve as the class of December 2012 commencement speaker is the highest honor I've ever received in the academy. For that, I thank you. What makes this moment so special for me is that I've taught the majority of you. And this occasion gives me the opportunity to finish a discussion I started in the first semester of your first year of law school. And the topic of that discussion was, what is law? I firmly believe that this question is the most appropriate starting point for anyone who has decided to commit his or her time, energy, and resources to the unpredictable, uncertain, and daunting task of studying the law. I also believe that this question is the most appropriate starting point for anyone who is about to receive the Juris Doctorate degree and embark on a legal career. For nigh on to 26 years, I've started each and every first-year torts class with a seemingly simple question: what is law? Without fail, some eager first-year law student, feeling equipped by their undergraduate experience, quips, the law is a rule or regulation, like a statute, that everyone is obligated to follow. In response to this response, I ask, well, is everyone obligated to follow the law? For example, how do you explain the outcome when someone commits a trespass upon a neighbor's property in order to save a child trapped in a burning house? If there were truly a law of trespass, how do you explain the law's unwillingness to convict the trespasser who saved the child? The trespasser hypothetical for 26 years has never dampened the youthful exuberance of a first-year law student. Rather, like libation, it seemingly stimulates others who, seeking to win the admiration of classmates and professors, raise their hands and run the gauntlet of skepticism often bestowed upon the first adventurers into the unknown. Emboldened by the tattered egos of classmates that have gone before, a student will inevitably assert that the law is what the community says it is, a community's norms and values. My question then becomes, who is the community that gets a say? History is replete with instances where one group or segment of a community ignored or disregarded the rights of other members of the same community in the creation or application of quote, unquote, law. Having the full attention of my perplexed torts class, I flavor the dialogue by reformulating the question as, is the Constitution law? Undeterred by the intellectual corpses which already litter the road to knowledge and understanding, a student raises his or her hand and responds, certainly, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. With the skills of a surgeon, seeking to remove a lesion one layer at a time, I ask, well, how do you explain the Jim Crow laws, the disenfranchisement of women, and other historical anomalies which followed the enactment of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Certainly, if the 14th Amendment constitute a law, then the aforementioned realities which were practiced from sea to shining sea for nearly 100 years after its enactment were blatantly illegal. Does the Constitution constitute a law? Is it the law of the land? Driven by the urge to defend the foundations upon which our very existence is believed to rest, first-year law students raise their hands en masse and to a person assert that the Constitution is the law. Inevitably, I end the dialogue with one final question. Has the Constitution of these United States of America ever been suspended, i.e. displaced, without the vote of the people? What follows is a resounding quiet. You can literally see fresh young mind thinking, some for the very first time. Volunteers not forthcoming? I take the baton and answer. Of course it has, on more than one occasion. I walk them through the facts of Karematsu versus United States, the empowering provision of the Patriot Act, Andrew Jackson's response to the Supreme Court's decision in Worcester versus Georgia. John Marshall has made his decision. Let him enforce it, now, if he can. If the Constitution be the law, and the law the will of the people, then how is it so simply disregarded, misapplied, and manipulated? According to Justice Harlan, dissenting in the civil rights cases in 1883, it is not the words of the law, but the internal sense of it that makes the law. The letter of the law is the body. The sense and reason of the law is its soul. What is law? This question has spanned the ages. History records the trial of an innocent man who stood accused of the crime of attempting to destroy the law. In response to this charge, without the benefit of either legal training or representation, he asserted, "Think not that I come to destroy the law. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill. Not one jot or one tittle shall pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. For I say unto you, that your compassion must exceed that of the priest and the teachers of law." Dissected, his defense was simply that society had lost sight of the spirit of the law. That because the law lacked compassion in its interpretation and application, its very existence was subject to being questioned. On another occasion, history records that this very same man was present at the execution of a woman, prescribed and condoned by law. Hearing the charges levied against her, he approached the condemned, turned to the crowd, and said, "Let he that has not violated the law cast the first stone." Upon hearing these words, the crowd dispersed, and the woman was saved. Compassion is a very powerful weapon. It saved the life of the woman. Compassion is a very, very powerful weapon. It also saved each member of the crowd. I've examined these cases often. They've significantly influenced my life and my view of law. I firmly believe that compassion is a uniquely human attribute. Therefore, the law can only be as compassionate as the person charged with its creation, administration, and application. Just as compassion gives meaning to law, it also gives meaning to you. It It determines not only who you are, but also who you are destined to be. In a few minutes, you'll receive a piece of paper which symbolizes that you are qualified to do something absolutely amazing. This piece of paper will literally give you the power of life and death. Guard this power. Exercise it judiciously. Remember, it is both a sword and a shield. Be not made drunk by it. This simple sheet of paper, which you are about to receive, will set you aside from the masses and elevate you to high station. Be not blinded by distinction, nor made foolish by position or station. This piece of paper will provide you with a wealth of opportunities. Opportunities to prosper, opportunities to serve, opportunities to change history, opportunities to make history. But most importantly, it will provide you the opportunity to defend and protect people, institutions, ideologies, and principles that are unable to defend and protect themselves. Compassion and the law. Embrace it. Meditate on it. Life is a classroom. Cognitive understanding will, if you allow it, lead to behavioral application. Be as a chosen people. Clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Always see the human picture and how the person in front of you will be affected by your decision. Be not limited by your egos. Remember, there's a greater meaning and purpose to leadership than grandiosity or power. Remember, almost everything you do in life is based on faith. So never lose faith. Never lose faith in people. All is never lost. Never lose faith in the process, for justice will always prevail. Most importantly, never lose faith in self, for faith is its own greatest reward. If you do not stand firm in your faith, believe me when I say you will not stand at all. Again, to the class of 2012, congratulations, and thank you for allowing me to share this moment in your history.
Thank you very much to Professor Parker. Now, for the hooding of the law graduates, Dean Cordell will read the names, and Dean Bridges and Dean Fox will help with the hoods. You all have
be hooded by Professor Tom Arnold. Elizabeth Marie Hutto. She'll be hooded by April Fox. Corbin Day Smith. He'll be hooded by Professor Tom Arnold. Evan M. McLemore. Jarrett Polai. That's okay. Arthur Lloyd. He'll be hooded by Professor Tom Arnold. Oh, right. Johnny, I'm sorry, Professor Johnny Parker. So sorry. Sorry, Tom. It wasn't on the card. Jason LaShawn Parker. He will be hooded by his father, Professor Johnny Parker. Andrew Donnie. He will be hooded by Professor Johnny Parker. Jared Kent James. He'll be hooded by Professor Johnny Parker. David Ross. He is being hooded by Professor Johnny Parker. Angela Merritt Jennings. She will be hooded by Adjunct Professor Sheena Burgess. There you are. And you're not in lives. McLean Whitney Gullickson. She'll be hooded by Professor Johnny Parker. Jennifer Ray Collins. She'll be hooded by Professor William Rice. Pulling up the ribbon. Ashlyn Elizabeth Dow. She'll be hooded by Adjunct Professor Sheena Burgess.
right to left? Okay, congratulations, class of 2012. Really great job. I'm now going to ask Professor Marty Fry to return to the podium for the benediction.
Dean Levitt, the faculty, the staff of the College of Law would like to invite each and every one of you to join us at a reception that will follow immediately in the foyer. Now for the benediction. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you have taken that first step and many more. We at the College of Law have been honored to walk with you the past few miles. We now come to a fork in the road and must part company. On behalf of my colleagues, we pray that may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind be always at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your faces, and the rains fall softly upon your fields. So until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, and let us all say,